The Neewer company reached out to me and asked me if I would review one of their lights. They suggested the HB80c or the FS300C. And I said, hey, what if you sent them both to me and I compared them? And the nice company that they are, they sent me both. Now, Neewer makes high-quality products at a low price, but these are budget lights. These are not professionals. You're not going to see these on Hollywood film sets. That's because they lack some of the professional features, such as wireless CMRX or wired DMX, for example. And if you don't know what that means, well, you're not a professional. Sorry about that. Pro models are going to be more durable, they're going to be weather sealed, but they're also going to be a lot more expensive. So if you're going to be lighting yourself for a small setup like this or a simple interview, well, lights like these are going to be just fine. Now, I became a fan of Neewer when I bought a C-stand about, 15 years ago or whatever, and it's still growing strong. Recently, Neewer sent me a little smaller C-stand that I really, really love. In fact, they sent me two. This is nice, got a little foam handle in here, really well made, and it's got those springs in it so you don't drop down and hurt yourself. Yeah, these are well built and they're way less expensive than other C-stands in their class. The HB80c is a full-color RGBWW light, and it has a battery built into it. And still, it has a very compact size and a full-size Bowens mount. This means that you can get a softbox, but not only Neewer, but from pretty much any other brand, and it's going to work great on this light. Now, the obvious downside to this light is it's only 80 watts. In fact, it's not even 80 watts, it's 72 watts. You only get to its 80 watt maximum if you use an external power through USB-C, and that requires that you use a charger that's over 100 watts. Now, the upside of this light is it's relatively inexpensive for a colored light. It's $229, but that's the list price. And every time I've gone to Neewer's website or even on Amazon and look for a Neewer light, there's always a sale going on. And I'm sure there's a sale going on right now. I have some affiliate links down below in the descriptions. Just click on those and you can get the current pricing. Now, I'm sure there's some of you out there saying, oh, a 72 watt light? Well, that's not for me. I need a light that's much more powerful than that. Well, we'll talk about brightness a little later. But remember, you don't always need a bright light. And this light is often bright enough. Now, the FS300C is also a full-color Bowens mount light. The difference is this is 300 watts. And yeah, it's much more powerful. But it also costs an additional $170. Again, that's just the list price. You can save a lot of money on these lights. Just check out the links. Now, the 300C doesn't have a built-in battery. In fact, it's worse than that. It has this huge brick that you've got to plug in, and then you can plug that in to the unit itself. So, yeah, fairly big and bulky. But there is some good news. Having an external power brick means that you can actually buy a $20 cable that will plug this into a V-mount battery. That V-mount battery is going to cost you probably about another $195. So the difference with a battery solution, well, that's really far apart. But of course, it's going to be more expensive because now you're powering a 300 watt light instead of an 80 watt light or 72 watt light. Now, there's a lot more similarities between these lights than there are differences. They both work with the Neewer app, and you can actually group them together and get them to give out the same color. Yeah, this is really kind of cool. I like that. As a white light, you can change the color temperature from 2500 degrees Kelvin all the way up to 7500 degrees Kelvin. A pretty wide range. It also has different dimming curves, and you can apply those dimming curves so that you can make them a lot dimmer, so you can dial in just the amount of light that you want. That's fantastic, and that's for both of these lights. Oh, and I should also mention that because these are colored lights, there's a green and magenta shift in here. So you can actually make these more green or more magenta to match other lights. Oh, and if you like picking your colors by gels, well, there's a bunch of preset gels in here as well. Yeah, that's really cool, both for Lee gels and Roscoe gels. Oh, and there's a color picker on here that allows me to just point at the color that I want to match and then put it on here and it matches up with these. Here, let me bring it down so we can actually see. Yeah, that's really handy. There are other brands that have similar features, but it's nice to see that there's a consistency of having these great features in both of these lights. Oh, and they both share the same 17 effects. But there is one extra effect that you get in this light, and that's music sync. Yeah, this light will actually respond to music, or in this case, vocal. Yeah. Okay, there's a little lag, but still pretty cool. Oh, and they both come in a nice case, and they're about the same size and quality. In the menu of both of these lights, you can set the fan mode to be either auto, high, or low. When you set it to low, though, it is going to cut some of the power. All right, I'll just crank the power up, and we'll just see if I can hear any fan noise. Okay, that is the quietest fan I think I've ever heard. Oh, and this light, there's only 2 settings for the fan, and when you do click on the lower fan, well, you do lose a little bit of power. I think it drops to 45 watts. All right, let's crank this thing all the way up, and let's see if I can hear the fan. All right, I can hear something if I put it up to my ear. This far away, I can't hear it at all. All right, that's a pretty silent fan, and so is that fan. And you know what? That is a big deal to me. Good job, Neewer. There are a couple things you get with the 80C that you don't get with the 300C, and one of them is this tripod, which is all metal. It's actually pretty nice and allows you to just put this on like this. Okay, don't think I'll ever be setting my light down on this tripod, but you know what? It's nice to have a little tripod around, even if it doesn't have a ball head. So you know what? I could probably get one from Neewer. Hey, Neewer, if you're listening, send me a really cool ball head and I'll do a video for you. Oh, and it also comes with this very nice, thick and long USB-C cable. Oh, and this is cool. This can actually be used to charge your phone. Let's see if it works. Oh, I can't get it to go in because of my case. That's a little disappointing. All right, I'll take the case off. Yeah, awesome. It's charging. Oh, and it also comes with this nice adapter here, so you can actually put this on a C-stand. Oh, and look at this. There's even a place for an umbrella to go in. I wonder if there's one over... Yep, there's one over here as well. Now, the controls of the HB80C are pretty simple. There's an on and off switch right here, a USB port. This is plastic, by the way. A nice plastic, but still, yeah, that looks like metal, but it's not. Right here, you have a little screen that gives you some things, and then you have a menu that goes through like this. And you can just click from the menu. The problem with this menu is you have to click through it, and so if you miss it, you got to go around the horn one more time to get what you want. Now, these controls aren't horrible, but they're not my favorite. The controls on the FS300C, well, they're a little bit more to my liking. So this style here adjusts the intensity, whereas this one does the color temperature, or if you press it in, will do the green and magenta shift right here. The mode button of the 300C has the same problem, where you get to the different menus by pushing the menu button, and if you miss it, you've got to go around the horn one more time. That's the one I want. I like these controls a little bit better than the 80C, but both of these lights control better from the app. All right, let's test the brightness. Let me turn off the background. All right, I've got the 80C turned up to 20% brightness. Here, let's turn it all the way up. Yeah, that's as bright as it goes without the USB-C adapter. Now I'll try the 300C. I'll turn it up to 40% brightness, and it's already blowing it out. So here, let me turn down the aperture so that you can see what's going on. So clearly, there's just a lot more power coming out of the 300, as we would expect. And if we group them together and down through the hues, well, you can see here well, first of all, there's a little lag in the app, but as we go through here, we can see that we're getting a little richer colors out of here because it's not as bright. There's a little oversaturation over here. Now, of course, we could dial this down and it would be the same saturation as this light here. So this is just giving us a lot more options when it comes to color. Here, let's go through some of the other colors, and you can see the difference yourself. Yeah. All right, we'll test about a foot away. On the HB80C, we get, yeah, very close on the Kelvin temperature. So the color temperature is really good, very close to the 5600 target. On the 300, I'm also getting close to the 5600 mark, only I'm slightly below it. There's also a little bit of a green cast, but not as much as over here, but I'm getting a lot more power from this. So let's talk about power. Do I really need this in a softbox that's going to light up my face? Here. Let's find out. All right, I'm going to put a softbox on each one of these, and I'm going to turn off my other lights, and we're going to see if you can tell the difference. All right, this is light number 1. Now let's compare it to light number 2. Let me know in the comments if you could tell the difference. All right, can you see the difference? This light is actually the HB80C, and it's only up to 34%. If I turn it all the way up, well, it's going to be too much light for this room. Now, admittedly, this is probably not the look that you're going for. I mean, there's no light at the back at all, and there isn't a hair or a rim light like I had before. But I think you can see that this light as a key light will actually work well in a very small room where you're controlling all of the lights. It has plenty of power to be a key light in a small room. But there are times when you just simply need more power. And there are two occasions that come to mind. The first is when your light has to be a long way away, because light falls off, and it falls off fairly quickly. In fact, it's called the inverse square law. Basically, if you take the distance between the light and your subject and you double it, well, this goes down not in half, it goes to a quarter. And then from then, it falls off more and more. So the further away your light, the more power you're going to need. So in a small space like this, well, you're not going to need a whole bunch. In a large room, well, you're going to need more and more. And also, this is a colored light. And where are you more likely to use color? Well, it's going to be on your background, lighting up a much larger space than just yourself. And that's when you're going to need a little more power. So I think I have enough evidence now to call a winner, the light that I would recommend as my first light to a content creator. And that would be the HB80c, because I think it will do most of the job that you need to do. And if you need more, well, you're going to need some other lights as well. And so if you find a better light, well, you can use that, and this light will always come in handy, either lighting up a background or a hair or a rim light or even a fill light. Yeah, this is a fantastic little light. It has a lot of little features packed into it, and it's at an affordable price. Remember, don't pay retail. Now, just because I crowned this the winner doesn't mean that this is a horrible light. In fact, it's a fantastic light. And if you bought it, I'm sure it would do well for you for many, many years. But if you're going to buy this light, well, I do have another recommendation for you, like I promised. Yes, it's the CB300C. This is all metal, has a better yoke, and it doesn't have that power brick that hangs off the back. And if you'd like to see this light compared to the Amaranth 300C, well, you can watch that little video right over there and see which one of those comes out on top. Hey, thanks for stopping by.